This news update is brought to you by
This is the Noon Barbados Today update for Tuesday, June 17. A warm welcome to you. I'm Kmar Jordan. Good afternoon. Deviant behavior in schools cannot be allowed to hold the education system to ransom. That message today from Education Minister Ronald Jones as he addressed major players in the island's education system attending a two-day conference to chart the future of the sector. The meeting, which is being attended by students at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, is looking specifically at ways officials can address and change behavioral issues, among other matters. But Minister Jones made it clear that the problems can not only be laid solely at the feet of the nation's children.
How many of us are guilty of making the already vulnerable desperate? Ask the question. How many of us, in the brutality of our words, destroy whatever little glimmer was trying to show through? Ask the question. It might not be you, but you can rest assured that there's somebody somewhere destroying that little light that is trying to show through.
On the heels of Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite's assurance that Jamaican Shanique Myrie will be paid by weekend, Al Barak reveals he's expecting a paycheck next month. It's almost 8 years since the contractor has been waiting on government to honor a court order to pay him more than $70 million for his part in completing the National Housing Corporation's Warren's office complex. Barak tells Barbados Today the High Court will again hear the matter on July 7, and he believes there will be a settlement then. Barak has also been threatening to take over the building and sell it to recoup his money, but he has not followed through. Barak says he would love to get his money. Line Barbados is assuring the public that landline operations will be fully operational by the end of today. For the past 2 days, some households, businesses, as well as government departments were unable to make calls from their landlines due to technical problems with that service. Corporate Communications and Public Relations Manager Marilyn Seeley tells Barbados Today, while the occurrence is a rare one, not all the company's services were affected. She adds that most of the service has already been restored.
This is a very rare occurrence. We don't usually get outages with the landlines at this level. We had an outage on Sunday, and all services were restored, and then we had an outage yesterday. There are obviously some customers who are still out, and we're trying to, the technicians are working to restore service to them. We are continuing to update the customers throughout the course of the day as we seek to have a resolution to the situation.
It may be the big break that most Barbadian artists have been dreaming of. The head of a global music licensing company, Sync Audio, Farinoush Mostagami, is now in Barbados scouting for music that could be placed in movies, films, video games, television shows, and commercials. She says there are a lot of talented artists in Barbados who can make it big on the world stage.
The two major ways to make money in the music industry is the live show, live performances, and licensing. So I'm trying to just make that happen for Caribbean.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Catch the sun power.
To news from around the region now, claims of a police brutality in the southern St. Lucian community after officers shot and killed a mentally ill man. According to a Viewport family, police were called in yesterday to get emergency psychiatric help for 51-year-old Simon Gabriel after he began acting up. Instead, they claim the officers used unnecessary force to subdue the man who was brandishing a rock. An investigation has been launched into the incident, but the family is adamant that what was needed was a simple prescription, not a gunshot. On the international scene, 12 women were abducted on the Kenya coast last night after rebels unleashed fresh attacks on villages. President Uhuru Kenyatta is pointing an accusing finger at what he calls local political networks for the overnight raid on 2 villages. But Somalia's Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attacks. We get more in this BBC report.
This is the worst that you've seen since Westgate Shopping Center siege last year in September. And Al-Shabaab are saying this time round they're revenging for the deaths of Muslim preachers in Kenya and Kenya's military presence in Somalia, to be specific. It's a shift from what they've done in the past because they've been targeting cities and towns. And in the cities and the towns in the country, that's where you find government installations, that's where you find large populations. But this time round, they've shifted to the village.
And that's been our 12 p.m. update. You can join us again at 6 o'clock this evening for more news and sports. Until then, you can log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, or like us on Facebook. I'm Kmar Jordan. Have a great afternoon and join us again at 6 o'clock.
This today is brought to you by Signal Financial Group.
To my people out there working hard to expand your horizons, chasing a flawless dream. Keep your eyes on the prize and we don't look back. It's forward thinking, on to the new stuff. It's time to lay bricks on the foundation of your future.
Get set with Signia to be sure the world will be yours. Take you to exceptional, incredible new heights. And get set with Signia.
Signia, quality solutions for your financial needs.
This is the Barbados Business Today for Tuesday, 17th, 2014. I'm Vic Fernandes. Barbados is a top choice for UK travelers in search of a perfect holiday. But the British Airways Executive Vice President for the Americas, Sean Doyle, says the island can attract more British visitors by developing another niche area. Doyle tells the Business Today he's expecting more passengers to make their way to Bridgetown with the lowering of the air passenger duty, and he's advising authorities to tap into the family market.
I think Barbados is perceived as a very beautiful place to visit. It's got an awful lot of great attractions. However, I think Barbados needs to continue to evolve its offering, and one area of opportunity is improving a product for family vacationers.
Meanwhile, BA's district manager for Barbados, Nigel Blackett, tells Business Today he's encouraged by the numbers coming out of the UK. He notes that the recovery is underway, but stressed the company is taking nothing for granted. In fact, Blackett revealed British Airways will be playing its part to attract even more visitors to the island.
The numbers are improving year on year, and we expect that trend will continue. That's not to say that there isn't a lot of competition both in the Caribbean and outside the Caribbean, and that's very important why we need to continue to invest in improving our product on the ground. For British Airways, we've invested significant sums in improving our product in the air. Our lounges, we've spending £5 billion over the next 5 years on making our passengers more comfortable when they fly with us. And I think the places that we fly to need to have that same commitment to invest in their product, that persons will want to continue to visit them.
Do not be afraid to lodge your complaints. This advice comes from the procurement senior specialist at the Inter-American Development Bank, Roy Paraho, to operators of local businesses that fail to land major contracts during a tendering process for projects being funded by the IDB. Paraho was addressing a procurement fear at the Lloyder Skin-Sandiford Centre recently. He says protesting a decision could help authorities to identify and deal with corruption.
We know people have complaints. When you go to the barbershop tomorrow, the barbershop has a lot of people who will tell you why somebody won tender, who won it, what was the reason for it. and how much graft and corruption. If you believe in it, we have a website called the OII, Office of Institutional Integrity. You call them up, you email them anonymously or detailed, and they will look into it. It is important that people protest and make complaints, because that's the only way we will improve. So we need to be aggressive in dealing with protests and complaints and issues dealing with fraud and corruption.
Now for today's financial tip. Always be wary about giving out account numbers of personal information, especially over the phone or online. Disclosing too much personal information may allow someone to steal your identity or your money. That's been the Barbados Business Today. Join us again on Thursday. Until then, you can get more business and news by logging on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribing to our e-paper, and liking us on Facebook. I'm Vic Fernandes.
Business Today is brought to you by Signal Financial Group.
To my people out there working hard to expand your horizons, chasing a flawless dream. Keep your eyes on the prize and we don't look back. It's forward thinking, on to the new stuff. It's time to lay bricks on the foundation of your future.
Get set with Signia to be sure the world will be yours. Take you to exceptional, incredible new heights. And get set with Signia.
Signia, quality solutions for your financial needs.